everyone, and welcome to the second broadcast of Speaking Out Live with Lady Lexy. I'm going to post a link in here pretty soon, so everyone who wants to join can come up. The topic of today is impact. So, the topic on average and the goal of this show is to make sure that people who do not feel comfortable speaking out are actually going to speak out, guided by me. And when they do feel more comfortable, well, I'll still guide them, asking them questions so they can share their story. And of course, then the question becomes, why is that so important? Well, the reason that's so important is that, and this is what I believe that if people don't do it, that they might end up hurting themselves and in the long run harming other people. Sometimes we are not even aware of the fact that we are actually hurting ourselves. It's the little things that we don't do or the little things that we do. It's basically what we do by taking control of our lives. So say, for instance, controlling your food intake can be a good thing, but it can also be a very extreme thing. When it's very extreme, then usually that's something which is what someone is doing in order to control themselves. When we are talking about, let's say, I'm coming up with some various examples here. Well, what a lot of young people, for instance, do to numb themselves now is they take recreational drugs. And by the way, older people do that too. But what we also see is they cut themselves. If we are talking about people who have access to alcohol, that's what you see too. And of course, there's an age limit for young ones getting alcohol, which is a good thing. Because back in my days, I already saw friends when I was at high school who already started drinking. So the question is, what do people have access to? And that is very different depending on their age range. But regardless, the goal is the same, and that's to actually stop the thoughts from going on and on and on and on and on. So today I want to talk about the impact, and I'm going to do something really quickly because I want to see if I can get some people to join me right now. And to do so, I'm going to send them a little something. I know it is always the more the merrier when people come. So, well, give me just 1 second. Although I have to assume people will know. So let's trust that people will know. Okay, so we're talking about numbing ourselves and the impact. I created this PDF. I'm going to grab it really quickly. And this is the impact of speaking out. Yep, there it is. And I'm talking about what it is and why one should start speaking out and having an impact on others. And here's the thing. When I first started talking about impact, I noticed that the chain reaction that existed. So on a number of lives, I've been talking about impact. And one of the first things I realized was it goes way beyond what we might see, what we might consider. So the first one who came up was the word impact, who suggested it was Bunny. And Bunny, she suggested this word, and she was inspired by a guy called Marshall Falk. Some of you may know him, some of you may not. But paraphrased from what she said, it came down to, if we can have an impact on other people, then why don't we? And of course, there's this question, are we talking about positive impact? And yeah, when we are talking about having an impact on other people, I would assume that we want to only have a positive impact on people. Hey, there is Terry. That's so cool. Hi, Terry. If you want to join, let me know. I can post a link here. I would love to know how you feel about having an impact on other people by speaking out. So actually, I am right now telling other people, and I'm going to post a link really quickly in here, about the talks I had with Bunny and with other people about impact and what it actually taught me. But I am going to put in the StreamYard link, if I can find it. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Yeah, okay, there it is. So if you want to join, just let me know. So first thing was about how do we positively influence other people. Then I had another talk with someone else, and it was quite funny because we realized that each in our own way, we have been speaking out. I've been going on Instagram Live, talking about the importance of having a voice and sharing what's going on. And then someone else I met through a community, she actually did the same thing. And we have something, or better said, someone in common. It's an actor, Jason Gay, and he, because of what he did, his interviews, and because of the shows on Chicago, he had a major impact on me. Because by the time I started watching, and it started, by the way, with Chicago Fire, so maybe I should say Dick the Wolf had a major impact on me. A client of mine just had committed suicide. And then we go back to the topic of speaking out. For a second, I was like, am I responsible or am I not? But no, of course, I'm not responsible. That would be utmost arrogant. But of course, and I guess that's a reflection, I was thinking about what could I have done differently? Well, the good thing is that overall, most of the time she did speak out. But in this case, she didn't speak out until it was too late. And she knew it. So basically, she had made the choice to say, okay, I'm over and done with everything, and let's stop it. Going back to how I met this other friend online through the community, we realized that each of us were having an impact on our own community. We were trying to inspire other people. And by the way, she has succeeded. And I believe I've done so too. But of course, I can never say that about myself. But from what I've heard from others, I did. And one thing led to another. And she came on my show. And that's how we got to talk about impact. And actually, she shared a number of stories. And one was about being able to process her own trauma. And I'm not going to say that I fixed it, because I didn't, but I am going to say that I may have taken the edge off just a tiny little bit. And that's what might be so important. Might be the difference between, hey, there's Bunny, hello. I posted the link in there, the StreamYard link. Ah, okay, Terry is going to fix his camera. Cool, 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 cool. And, yeah, Bonnie's always so supportive. Bonnie, I just mentioned you. I said you were the one who came up with the theme of impact, and that you were inspired by Marshall Falk, who paraphrased from you being paraphrased, was talking about if we can have an impact on other people, then why don't we? And of course, I added something that you talked about as well, which was that we can have a positive impact on people and we can have a not so positive impact, but we are talking about having a positive impact on other people. So, okay, so going back to what was I talking about? Oh, I always get so easily distracted. I've got this ADHD, and the H is really big. So never mind. I'll come back to where it is. Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. She loves how I phrase that. Okay, so that friend of mine who I was talking about, we use different routes, but she came on my show, and what she said to me was, I had no intention of ever going live, but it does help her. And she says it's just a tidbit easier to talk about it. And she's sharing more now. I can see it in her post too. And we had some follow-up conversations. And this is going to be a tough topic. So if there are kids out there, then maybe you want to put them somewhere else. But what she shared, and that's what I also said in my PDF, the impact of speaking out, as an example, is what if you are living a life and due to circumstances, I'm trying to keep it a little bit sheltered in case there are kids around, and other people are actually taking control of your life. And usually when people do so, they know how to do so. There's this song from Rammstein. I'm not entirely sure what the title is, but the word that stands out is Das Mauer, which means the wall. And we talked about, there is Terry. Add to stream. Yes,
There we
there
go.
you are. Hello.
So I got a new camera.
Okay, well, it's working.
Yeah, I love it. So I had to kind of figure a couple of things out. I just wanted to make sure that I had this where it wouldn't work. It wouldn't connect at first. And so I had to go test it on my StreamYard real quick. And here we are.
Okay, cool. Well, I was actually in the middle of explaining something, and I was trying to do it, so it was a little bit, well, not too specific, but it's important to talk about it. And after that, I really would like to know your intake on impact related to speaking out. So what I was trying to say is sometimes we need to speak out, but we don't dare to because of circumstances controlled by our environment. You probably know what I'm talking about, but I'm not entirely certain whether or not there are children in the background. So I already said if they are, then you might want to keep an eye on them. And that's why I made this connection to a song from Rammstein, which is called Das Mauer, the Wall. And it's talking about a woman who has a house. He built a house for her with a garden. And then when you listen on, then you hear that her feet are actually cemented in brick. And she is stuck in the house with nothing to do. All she can do is watch what's going on outside. And I was talking to someone else about it just recently, and we were talking about how is that possible. But there's of course this, oh, I love you so much, and then the next thing that happens, well, I don't want to be too graphic, and let's put it this way: one ends up in the hospital, comes up with all these excuses because the one who did so actually try to make it up. Oh, and of course, the way they know how to play it, that it's like it's your fault and you're in general, not your story. And the thing is that people get so good at concealing what's going on, and then at some point they don't dare to share it anymore until someone comes and speaks up and says, do you know what's going to happen to you if you keep continuing this? And that's what people need. People need others to reach out to them so they can take themselves out of the situation and survive and be a role model to other people who are in the same situation. Did I say that non-specific enough to be specific enough about what I wanted to get across, but not too graphic? Terry?
No, I had to unmute again. So no, it was perfect. And I love it. And here's the biggest thing that I've discovered that most people experience whenever it comes to speaking out. So regardless of situation, regardless of circumstance, and I love the analogy that you kind of put in there, but really it comes down to fear of judgment. It really does. So when you're speaking up, when you're speaking out, the number one thing that can be impacted is yourself. And that's what holds a lot of people back right there, because it's like, well, what's going to be the impact if I speak up? What is going to be the impact if I speak out? Well, at the opposite thing of that, look at it this way. What's going to be the impact if you don't speak up or speak out? Because the moment that you come across a situation, a circumstance, or whatever the case may be, and you don't speak out, you don't say something, you know what just happened right there? You established a new standard, and that becomes the new norm. And then people will continue taking actions without ever really fully understanding that, hey, this is right. Hey, this is wrong. And until you speak up, until you speak out, people will continue to have a negative impact on themselves without really understanding that, hey, I need to speak up. I need to speak out, because you know what? The moment that you do, that wakes that other person up and it establishes a new standard. You think differently, you act differently, you talk differently on both sides. So it's important that whenever you do see something like that, like you described, you speak up, you speak out, and you establish a new standard.
Yes, yeah, I totally agree. And I love what you say about the norm and the standard. But what we usually do not realize is that by doing or taking certain action or inaction, we actually give ourselves permission. And so it's not consciously creating the new standard, it's what we do on a subconscious level. And that's what's so tricky. And of course, if we don't say anything to friends or family or whoever, strangers, then no one knows. And you cannot check with other people if you don't talk to them. Like, what do you think about it? I mean, just recently we had this conversation. Hey, there is Mary. Hello. Come join us if you want to. And we talked for quite some time. I think it was a couple of hours actually.
It was a couple hours. Yeah, no, it was a great conversation though. So think about it like this, shape that conversation exactly like this right here. And I love the word that you use, permission, because the moment that you stop someone in their tracks, you stop that permission. But if you don't, you're giving them permission to continue. So that's the reason why speaking up or speaking out is really important, because there's, hey, Mary, there's a permission level that is happening right there. And until you block or you stop that permission, then that's where it becomes powerful. That's where you put the power back in your side, back in your hand right there. You have to be able to have the courage and the confidence to say something. Otherwise, you give the other person permission to
Yeah,
continue, because they might not even think anything about it. They might just keep on going and going and going, not even think anything about it. And it's like, oh, well, I didn't know. You never said anything.
they may not even be aware of the impact.
Exactly.
That's the whole thing. They might think it's normal, as in no one ever confronted them with it. That's what you see a lot of times. I don't know if you heard those stories, but I've heard them several times. Say that you are running this huge company. It's family company built up from the ground. At some point, there are like thousands of employees working for you, and you are the one in charge. Again, you, not you, Terry, but in general. And what you see happen is that people get scared to speak up, let alone speak out, and say, I don't agree with you. This is what I think about it. And they are basically like a shaking leaf whenever they see that person or when they are called to their office. And that's when you get really crazy things, because once a person thinks he or she is God, I mean, they can basically do anything, say anything. Um, then what happens at the office will at some point also happen at home. And maybe at first the spouse will not say anything and kids won't. But the question is, if that person is so used to that authority, will that person be able to actually listen to what the other one is saying? And that's the thing when it comes to the norm and the standard, and what's normal and what's not. Because they might think it's normal. And I want to link it to one specific phrase, which is, um, I can do it because I can, or I did it because I can. The because I can, a lot of people don't realize what that actually means. It means no one has ever contradicted you, or they tried to, but they failed in their tracks. And that's how we get so many things, um, which are completely out of the norm for normal average society, whatever normal average is. But let's say, which when it comes to respect, you normally wouldn't do. So we have Mary here on the show, and Terry. I for one sec, I want to hear what you want to say about it, and then I want to hear from Mary what you would like to say about it.
Uh, if I can, I'd like to pass the microphone over to Mary and let her add some value to the conversation.
Yeah,
I have a lot to unpack with what you just said right there, but I would rather hear Mary's thoughts first if you can.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure that Mary has some very interesting stories because of her background. And I don't know, Mary, can already share a little bit about your background, or do you want to say something yourself?
You can share it.
Okay, so Mary has a background where she comes from Cameroon, and women and men are looked at differently. That's correct, Mary, right? So one of the things, and I thought that was really painful when I heard it, was, "Hey, Shen, come on in. You're welcome to join." Was that the value, and I can't describe it any differently, but the value of women is determined by whether or not you have children. So it's not even about who you are as a person, what you do, how the conversations are. No, it's like, okay, if you cannot have children, then that's it. Okay, want to comment on that? Mary, did I say it correctly?
Yeah, you said it correctly, but it's changing a little now. That was when I was growing up, which is more than half a century away. It was you women were just meant to get married and have children, to the extent that when you had brothers in your household and there was limited resources to send them to school, they would prefer to send the boys to school, even if the girls were more intelligent. But today it's changing because at least we're becoming a globalized world. People are mixing, people are traveling, people are seeing how things are done elsewhere. But it still remains, if you're a woman who is not married, and if you are married and you don't have children, another So it's like you are incomplete, and they would really tell you when women are talking, you have no voice. So it's changing, but very slowly.
So, say you would like to talk to your fellow sisters, and I don't mean literally siblings, but in general. What would you, from your point of view, with the knowledge you have nowadays, want to say to them when it comes to being looking at your own value and what you're worth, and possibly standing up for yourself? What would you tell them?
Like looking at me, I grew up in a household where my parents insisted on us getting an education and a livelihood, which is a job, before even thinking about marriage. But we were in a society that was judging us whether we were married or not. So in my family, we went to school and we spent all the time. So before I remember that I had to have children, it was almost late. So, but today, I think I would tell them, follow your dreams and do your things. You can either do them. There were people who were doing them simultaneously. They were going to school, they were having children and stuff. It was not easy for them, but they had to juggle it. But today's, like my nieces and my nephews who are younger today, they really don't still grow with that mentality because, for one thing, people have been traveling, and like I said, and a lot of mixture. So I'll tell them, don't wait until everything is set before you can start one thing or the other. If you can do all, you can do all. But your value is not somebody who is going to determine it. It's you who will put value on yourself. You are the one who gives yourself value, and people will now treat you from the value that you give yourself.
Okay, Mary, hang on for a sec. I see two new faces, Jimmy Fur and Father Jack. I'm going to invite them, um, and let's see what they have to say, and then I'll come back to what you just said. But I want to give them an opportunity to join. Yes. Okay, there
No,
we
that
are.
should be a
That
spam.
was interesting. That's what we talk about, not giving a voice. Okay,
That
so
should
how
be
do we
that's
know that Father Jack is actually a good person? Um, okay, Father Jack, maybe you could put in the chat privately. Why are you different from Jimmy? Or we can let you come in for just 1 minute. And just be warned, you will be kicked out if you're the same as Jimmy. If you're not, I'd love to have you on here. So let's see. Okay. And this is what is so sad about we are trying to do something here, which is Bonnie, if you can tell me how I do so. Um I don't know how to do it on the do I do it from YouTube or do I
Yeah.
do it from StreamYard?
So you do that from YouTube, and my recommendation moving forward is that if you do not know who they are, do not bring them on.
Good. Okay, thank you. Yeah, Bonnie, I agreed. Yeah. So okay, I'm going to YouTube for a sec. Um, yeah,
And I
Well, we
just
we are we are in a society where there's everything, and you can expect everything at any time, and that's why you have to be focused on the things that you want and intentionally take
well,
action
good thing
on what you
about it
want.
is that okay. So I'm hang on. I'm here on my YouTube channel. So now guide me through it, Terry.
Yeah. So what you can do is you can, like Zan said, make us mods. And how you do that is that if you, so here, look at Zan's name. And then when you hover over his name on the right-hand corner, you will see 3 dots.
Yeah.
Tap on that 3 dots and then tap on make moderator.
Also, I can basically go to.
So hold on, slow down for just a second. Did you see make moderator?
No, but I'm beginning to understand what you're saying. Okay,
well,
so
there's ways to block. So there's 3 different things that I want you to focus on. But the first thing is the first step, which is the 3 dots. So to make someone a moderator, that's how you do that. Tap on the 3 dots and then make moderator. You can do the same thing to Bonnie. You can do the same thing for me. You can do the same thing for Mary. That way you have moderators so we can control the chat. However, to block people, that's actually not in the chat. It's on your YouTube
I just
channel.
blocked them. That was the easy part.
Yeah.
Okay, but here I have to do it from the comments, right?
If they made a comment, yeah.
No. Oh, here, add moderator. Yep. Okay, so Zen is a moderator. Now Bunny is. Now I need to make you a moderator too.
So I just made a random comment, hello, so that way I'm there too.
Yeah. Okay, so are you moderator now? Can you see it?
Not at the moment.
That's weird.
Oh, now I am. There it is.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, now I can let you handle this. Okay, so the good thing about what just happened, even though I'm not too happy about it, is that we can actually show people this is what happens and what we need to do when people are being disrespectful. And this was, of course, a very extreme example, but it is, but perhaps it was the right example, and of course I can edit it out later on if needed.
And that was the next point that I was going to make. Sorry to interrupt you. I was going to make that. Please edit that out. You'll get your channel banned, turned down, taken down, because that was absolute garbage. And you definitely do not want to get your channel shut down because of somebody that we didn't know.
Yeah. Okay. So this is going to be shared directly on YouTube. So the question is how, I probably have to take it down and then put it back up again.
You'll have to take it down, edit it, modify it, and then re-upload it.
So do you think it would be wise to, just for now, to end it and start it again?
That might be a good idea.
It's a good thing, sort of, that this happened. Of course, we don't want this. But this is what you show people. If you give me something I don't agree with, or you want to put it on me, then I say no, and I ban you out. Listen.
I'm here.
Good to see you. That was crazy, right?
That was like, what happened?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm here.
Good to see you. That was crazy, right?
That was like, what happened?
Okay, so why are we repeating?
I'm here.
Good to see you. That was crazy.
That was like, what happened?
Okay, so why are we repeating? Can we all mute for?
If one of you have your YouTube channel on, mute your YouTube channel and just talk through StreamYard. So in another browser, you have YouTube open and you're streaming YouTube. One of you have your YouTube channel on, mute your YouTube channel and just talk through StreamYard.
See, it was Sen. Sen, I muted you because you were singing around. So can you close YouTube, Sen? Then we can get you back live on again. Okay, let's see. Live on again? Yeah. No, I still can hear in the background.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, thank you so much. I said it was crazy.
It always works best to mute YouTube before you start talking on StreamYard.
Yeah.
Zan, you're a pro at this now, man. You should be good at this. You should
You
know
know
that.
what? You know what happened, Terry? I switched from my Safari browser over to my Chrome, then opened up another tab, and then yeah, it's all good.
It's all good. We're here. Hey, so before we was rudely interrupted, we were talking about impact, and we were talking about different things on, what is impactful. Now, although that particular situation was absolutely impactful, my ears got shot clear across the room. I had to take anyway. So we're not going to give that troll any more love and any more attention, because that's the only thing that they were looking for. And the thing is that people out there do things because they cannot achieve their own degree of success. And they feel like the only way to do that is to take it out on others. And they feel like, you know what, if I can impact you negatively, then that's going to transfer over to you, and you're going to just continue to be as negative as they are. Well, you know what? I got something for you. We're not those people. We are movement makers. We are 100% positive people. And no matter what you try to do, no matter what you try to say, we are going to continue to take appropriate action, because appropriate action is staying focused on what it is that we're trying to achieve. And we're here to impact people's lives positively. Having said that, Lexy, back over to you.
Yeah, well, I loved what you said. And if you can just continue for one more minute, then
yeah, no worries. So here's what I want to talk about. So Lexy, you asked a question earlier, and here's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of organizational leadership policies and procedures. So when you was talking about the organization, when you was talking about oftentimes within an organization, you can feel small, really, because you feel like a number. And when you feel like you finally have the courage to speak up and speak out in an organization to where you're an employee, or you're just a number, or someone who doesn't necessarily have a voice, and you put your faith and trust in that leader to go behind closed doors to express your thoughts, your ideas, your concerns, your issues, whatever the case may be, it can be overwhelming when that leader looks at you and treats you differently than you are, which is a person, which is another human, a valued person, a valued human, a valued employee. And I had a situation like that happen to me one time when I was in the military. Unfortunately, when I was in the military, I had a senior leader that I went behind closed doors, and I entrusted this person with an issue that I was facing. I was like, hey, boss, I have an issue. I have a problem, and I want to talk to you about it. This person looked me straight in the face and said, Terry, well, he didn't say Terry, in the military, we have rank. So he called me by my rank and my last name. And he said, it's not my job to teach you. Well, that lesson right there taught me the biggest lesson that I ever learned within life. And that's to take ownership in the things that you can control. Take ownership in your own learning, your own lessons, your own discoveries. And when you take ownership in the things and put value and faith and trust in your own abilities, you don't have to rely on other people that are in positions of increased authority and responsibility, or titles or positions. So the thing is that when you're in organizations, organizational leadership, or organizations have what's called policies and procedures. Some of the things that really come to mind is the open door policy, equal opportunity, confidentiality, and then all of that really kind of covers the gamut of things that can happen. So the deal is that when an employee goes behind closed doors and they put their faith and trust within a leader, and that trust is broken, you have policies and procedures and a way in order to speak out. Yeah, it's bad. It's formal. You fill out paperwork. You have other people. But what if there's corrupt leadership all across an organization? And that's something to think about. And that happens everywhere. You got corrupt leadership, you got corrupt organizations. There's no faith and trust in the employee. It's shut up and color, or shut up and put out, or get out. And once again, that's a problem with leadership these days. It's a leadership problem. And I think that more these days we have a problem between leadership and likership. And the thing is most leaders want to be liked, but they really don't care whether you like them or not. And that's a conflict. It becomes a conflict of interest. And then it really goes deeper than that, because keep in mind that no matter what leaders say, managers say, people say, whatever the case may be, if they treat you differently, negatively, as an outcast, anything different than a human being, it says more about them than it does about you. Those are my thoughts.
Oh, I couldn't say that any better. Thank you so much for sharing this. And I'm actually in the midst of writing a book, which is called Freedom Formula, which is actually about leadership. And I have to share a little secret, and Terry knows this. We were talking last week a little bit about my books, and Terry said, okay, what's keeping you? And then he gave me one suggestion, and it was form it around a topic. Well, my topic is about speaking out. And the moment he said it to me, I already was like, oh, now I can finish this book pretty quickly. So I've got a couple of books which I'm writing. But this one is about valuing your employees, seeing the value they have, not say, okay, I'm the boss, I tell it like it is, but actually be open for suggestions from other people, because they can bring your company to the next level if you listen to their ideas. But more importantly, if you have them in the right place. And that's what I love about certain companies. I think that Google is one of those companies where actually employees have a voice. I think that's great. So Bonnie's on here too, and so is Sen took off, I think, for a sec. So I'm going to invite Bonnie because you have been listening. Bonnie, what do you want to say? And then we're going to give Zen the opportunity to talk.
So Zan's probably actually better prepared to talk right this second, because I turned my volume way down when your intruder so rudely interrupted your stream because the kids are laying down in the other room and it startled the crap out of me. And I'm like, So I know we're talking about impact, and I don't want to come in and be like, I don't know what we're talking about. So I'm going to let Zan talk, and I'm going to get up to speed. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's the impact of speaking out. I made a handout. Yes, I learned from you guys. In this case, I learned from Zen. So here are my 7 steps. Yeah,
okay. I love it. Nice. Nice.
Completely with A up till G.
See what I was telling you?
Nice.
There is no way you can be in this community without being an action taker.
Yeah, this
community is awesome.
Yeah, this community.
Some examples in there with me there, and I added my own story in here so people can see it, and said something about my mission. And actually, if people want to go and get it, I still have to put up the link. But
yeah, I was going to ask if you could send it to me because I'd love to look it over. And I promise I'm going to read your ebook this weekend. It's on my list to do. I've just been, the new business that I'm doing, there was no like predefined plan. And then all of a sudden it was like, I'm going to have you do this, this, and this. And I was like, all right, cool. Cause it's, moving up that way, but go ahead.
So this is going to be the link for the PDF. And then in the PDF, there will be a link for if people want to be part of my founders group of 2 monthly coaching, 2 weekly coaching. I'm saying it incorrectly. So that's what I set up today. Okay, so let's go over to Zen.
Maybe you let Terry talk. Terry is on his way out.
Oh, that's true. Okay, Terry,
let Terry talk
before you leave?
I mostly covered what I wanted to say, but I did want to touch on a couple of things that Mary was talking about. And very powerful story, by the way, Mary. And I know that we've talked about this as well too. And you are an absolutely amazing, powerful woman. You truly are. You have a voice that the world is waiting to hear. And I just want to point that out. Here's the thing. And you talk about community, you talk about, women having a voice, women not having a voice, but think about it like this. It only takes one woman with a voice in order to inspire many other women who do not have a voice. And you have that voice. You have the voice, you have the knowledge, you have the wisdom, and when I hear you speak, I can hear like an ancient wisdom that is just waiting to inspire the world. Here's the thing. I've served in the military for 24 years, and I've served with some absolutely amazing women leaders. Okay. And, even in the military, it took a long time for women to find themselves in senior leadership positions. And, especially at the senior ranks all the way up into the general ranks. So now that we have women generals, we have women serving in leadership positions, to include a woman vice president. It's powerful. It's truly powerful. Women are starting to find themselves in more and more increased positions of authority and responsibility, because you know what? Women do have a voice. Women are powerful. Women do have the number one. Well, there's really two things. There's experience, and then there's perspective. You have experience because you have a perspective. You've experienced a lot of struggle, a lot of hardship, a lot of those things within life that have held you back. And you know what? Now it's time for you to be heard. And I just wanted to kind of point that out, because I know that you yourself, you have some things that you're trying to overcome as well too. But I'm going to tell you right now, right here, that when Mary gets unleashed, watch out. Watch out. Here it comes.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Oh goodness,
Oh,
Terry
that's
is
a really
amazing.
good one. So Jen, you first of all, I'm going to say thank you to Terry, because I know you have to leave in a little bit. Well, this is about impact and the importance of speaking up and speaking out. I don't know if you heard the what Mary said and what Terry said, but maybe you have your own perspective on things. So go ahead, the mic is yours.
Well, can you guys hear me? I'm trying something new. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, because I'm gonna use a better mic next time, but this is just the computer's mic. But
It's working.
It's working good. And my lighting, I'm working on that too. So I'm doing some. I'm being like Bonnie. I'm changing things around in the studio. She's got a new studio. I'm trying to change things around in here too. But
Yes.
no, Terry is always so eloquent in the things he says. It's hard to follow Terry. I didn't get a chance to hear
He's
what
a great speaker.
oh yeah, amazing. I didn't get a chance to hear what you guys talked about earlier in regards to impact. And I can't stay long either, but I want to show up. I said, look, it's on my, it's on my schedule. I said, I gotta go say hi to Lady Lexy. Unfortunately, I feel so unfortunate for you for what happened earlier. I'm like, really? I mean, she's over here doing something good, really? So, but like Terry said, that doesn't stop us, because we can make a bigger impact. So, from this angle, because I've talked about impact before, I just want to just kind of simplify things. When you come together as a group with like-minded individuals, I think you 10x your impact. I think, because if you had to deal with this by yourself, that's one thing. But now you got all of us supporting you and around you. It makes a big difference. And guess what? It's never going to happen again. We're all modded up now. We're all modded up. So it could never happen again. And because our hands are tied, we can see it coming, but we can't do anything.
Yeah.
And actually, well, I was surprised on both of those, because it was a regular person at first.
Yes.
I'm like, wow. So, but like Terry said, again, this is the beautiful thing of a group. We can share additional ideas and insights. So now you're better prepared, because now Terry says, if we don't know that person, don't invite them up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've taken that to heart. So next time.
Yeah, live and learn.
Entire conversation in private.
Yeah, we learn, and then we live, and then we live and learn. So so for me,
about it, and is that the result was I literally stopped broadcast. So I shut them up. I can't say it anywhere else. So I blocked them. I screwed them out, but I also took it down. So it's going to be taken down from YouTube. I'm going to edit it, and then I'm going to put both of them together. And
good for you.
When it comes to the impact of speaking out, I basically said, okay, I don't agree with this.
And you don't let it stop you. That's the thing. I think that's the whole point. So it can discourage you and stop you, but we're not gonna let it happen, because we're a family. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. We're a family, So that's all there is to it. That's why we're here, trying to support each other and be there for each other. And so the impact is, from a group standpoint, I think it gives us, I think, even we talked about, those two things. We talked about resilience. We talked about momentum. It makes everything go along much more smoother,
Yes.
The group thing is everything. It really is. So
Yes,
that's
and is
my
talking about the previous themes of the previous months. For those who know Evan Carmichael and are in his Movement Makers program, they know that we've had challenges, all of us, and the themes have been like resilience, momentum, and gratitude, and now we impact. But I actually love what's going on here, and this is, if I want to get one thing across from this whole show, then it would be, look at all these people you are seeing right now and how we are supporting one another.
Yeah.
And if neither of us had said something to one another, then I don't know what would have happened. But because we all saw what was going on, and we all want to protect and support one another, I was able to do the right thing. And they found me again. And Bonnie helped me share the YouTube link, and others helped share the StreamYard link. So here we are again. And that's basically what the power and the importance is of speaking out.
And we came back to make an impact. I just thought that around. That's all.
Yeah, I totally love it.
Hey Terry, that's all. Terry, that's all I got for you, man.
I really want to commend you, Lady Lexy. You were so calm and focused. You didn't let them distract you, and you didn't shake. You stood your ground because you have to be heard. And I really want to celebrate you for that.
Thank you so much.
I'm always proud of you all. And you see, every day you give me reasons to stay in the community. And so like Terry, I'm so happy and grateful for all the kind words that you said, because they say being your truest self is the biggest impact you can make. And so I got to a point where I had to find myself, and then now I can be able to help others. And so I'm
and
finding myself.
That's so powerful. You know, when you were sharing your story, I had to think about Oprah Winfrey for a sec. I mean, all of us know who Oprah Winfrey is and the battle she had to face. And she literally started speaking out. I mean, she had her own show, and she's still doing stuff on YouTube, just not on television anymore. And I think that's so powerful what she's been doing. And actually, when it comes to this analogy, she shared something, and I love it. So she said, if something is not right, then, and I'm saying it paraphrase, first it's like a feeling, then you get tapped on the shoulder, then someone is starting to scream in your ear. If that doesn't work, then you get whacked in the head, and if that doesn't work, then woof, until you get the understanding like, hey, this is going on, do something about it. And that's one of the things which really stuck, and what I really resonated with. And I guess that's what it's all about when it comes to speaking out. So I'm going to check the private chat. Okay, yeah, okay. So I'm going to give Bonnie the mic in a little bit, but first, Zen and Terry, anything you want to share?
I think you guys cover quite a bit. You know, you cover quite a bit. I'm gonna hang out for like another 10 more minutes, but you guys cover quite a bit. I mean, I like being here. I like that you have your channel. I like that you're making an impact. You know, and that's what it's all about. I mean, I'm glad that Evan gives us these monthly challenges. Tomorrow's gonna be fun. Well, we got insider readers tomorrow. That's gonna be fun. And Evan's back. He's not, you know, I don't know if he's 100% recovered yet, but he's back. He's back in the game. And I don't know why I thought Terry was feeling ill, but I think he's okay. Maybe with somebody in the family.
No. We had a winter storm that came through here. I had no electric, no power, no nothing for like 4 days.
Yeah.
Were your kiddos sick too for a little while?
Yeah, so they just got back from being out of the country and everything. So there was a bug going around, and they're isolating for 2 weeks, and
oh, wow. Okay.
and this, that, and the other. So So once again, just a little bit of a bug going around, nothing COVID related, just a little bit of a bug. And, they're better now. They're fine. And no, the biggest thing was the winter storm, because Bonnie was getting sporadic text messages when I could get them out
Oh my
from time
God.
to time. So she was like my lifeline, so to speak. So she, between her and my dad, those were like the only two people that I was really texting.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you talk about impact and reaching out to others, because when we talk about speaking up and speaking out, it's also about reaching out to others.
Oh,
That's exactly what you did, Terry. And
good
that
point.
Bonnie, in turn, she spoke to us about it and let us know what was going on, so you wouldn't catch all the heat. Sen, you wanted to say
Yeah,
something?
I just thought about what Terry just said, what you just said about reaching out, and he mentioned about COVID and all this stuff. My sister tested for COVID. I call her, and we talk about reaching out and having an impact. I call her every single day.
Yeah, it's so good.
I call her, and the reason why is because you never know how that stuff impacts people, right? And some people, they can be strong and pull through, and some people, it might put them in the dumps, and you never know if they go down a spiral. But she hears my voice every day saying, "Hey, I love you. You're gonna be okay." It impacts her. She fear doesn't have a chance. Depression, sadness, it doesn't have a chance to take root in her, because she knows I'm gonna call and make that impact. I'm gonna reach out, and it's like, I think this is what we need in our society, because people are going to be going through a lot of stuff. And if we can, to each his own, but if we can reach out and our voice have an impact, our presence, our attention, just whatever we can do. And I'm sure we got family and friends that even if we're okay, they're not okay. So that bothers us. So we're not okay. So let me call, make sure she's okay, to get her to pull through this. And so I call both of my sisters. I have a younger sister and an older sister, and my older sister she was in the hospital. I had to call, and I didn't have the room number, and so I was still calling every day. And we was able to talk yesterday, so I guess they had her in the hospital. It's just so much is going on, and we just have to. We are in the business. We really are in the business of impact. If we
have to let people know that
we're in the business of impact.
Yeah, that we are there for them and that we reach out. One of my friends just recently, I think it was in 2012, I got to meet her through a concert. She posted on Facebook back then that she was going into yet another surgery and it might kill her because of the problems she has with her intestines. She has Crohn's disease. So I didn't know her very well, other than that she did the merch for the concert and I was backstage and I knew the guys. But I decided to send her a card like every day. Just recently she found all the cards. They're like, I don't know, somewhere between 6 and 10 cards. I literally sent them every day to her when I didn't even know her very well. But now we are the best of friends. We're two buddies. And when she recently was during New Year's Eve reached out to me at 4:00 at night, like, I'm stuck. I'm locked outside. I don't have my keys. I don't have my wallet. I don't even have my colostomy bags. I said, okay, I'm going to pick you up. You probably remember because I had to cut your broadcast short. And I picked her up. And then we went straight to the hospital. And I went to the ER. I said, could you please help her out? We need colostomy bags. Then got her some energy drinks. And then she could crash here. And
I must one last piece, and this goes back to a little bit what Terry was saying earlier, but Mary and I was talking about this earlier on my business channel earlier today, and we talked about that word positive, right, Mary? And so I'm going to make it intentional, purposeful, to do my best to have a positive impact, and I'm just going to focus on that, even if there's negativity around or whatever. I'm committing myself to having a positive impact. And if that can't happen for whatever reason, or I don't like that word can't, if that's not going to happen for whatever reason, just remove myself from the situation. If I can't have a positive impact, then I'm going to move myself. And so I think I'm going to add that to my practice with compassion this year. That was my word last year. I'm adding compassion for 2022, but now because of this conversation here, and I see what it does to my sister and other people that get a phone call from me, I'm going to make a concerted, consistent, focused effort to make a positive impact. Or, yeah, I think I'm going to, I'm committing to that right now as we speak.
I love it.
I'm committing myself to that.
I think so. And you know, do you remember when I was on your show and Pastor Tori was coming on? We went back and forth a few times just to be sure that because I didn't want to make a negative impact either.
Yep.
So I said, am I going to? And then you invited me. So, but by talking about it, it actually helped me to figure out, it actually helped me to figure out what was, what I could do and what I couldn't do. And actually it was a good show. And I love seeing him, but it's always a little bit weird being deconverted and all.
No, it's good. It shows you're a good person. You got a good heart, and we're all here for the right reasons, you know. And again, you're gonna have trolls and other people out there, but you know what? People gonna do what they do. I just, you know, the impact, positive impact, and which is good. Let's give it to Bonnie because Bonnie, that was her word. That was Bonnie's word.
Bonnie, do you already have?
Bonnie that was her word.
I stole it from Marshall Falk.
Yeah, I already said.
I always give credit where credit's due. It was a culmination of a couple of days or a few days worth of conversations. But yeah, so I'm partnered with Marshall Falk and some other amazing people, and he gives a talk on Thursday mornings, and I say air quotes because it's morning for them and afternoon for me because they're on the other side of the country. And the one thing that really stuck out to me was he was talking about, and I love how Lady Lexy paraphrased what I paraphrased because it sounded better the way you said it. But basically he was talking about impact and basically, like, I'm trying to phrase it positively. You did such a great job.
Yeah,
the way I heard from him was the worst thing you can do is know your impact and not impact. Like to know that you can have a positive impact on people and not impact them positively. Like knowing that if you smile at a stranger, it could make their day, but walking on past and not doing it, whether it's just because, I don't know, you feel crappy or you're worried about them judging you. You know, there's all different reasons that we don't, like I've waved at random strangers on accident and then been like I was probably thinking, why is this person waving? And then I realized like that person probably A, didn't even see me, and B, if they did see me, like big deal. I made the gesture. I said hi to a stranger. Cool. On accident, but cool. It worked out. But like fear of judgment stops us from having an impact so much. And that's across the board. That's for people who are new at this, and that's even for people who are seasoned. They still have those little bits of doubt in their head sometimes where they're maybe not super comfortable in a specific setting or with certain people, and they kind of dull themselves down, like dim themselves down versus like expressing fully who they are because they're not sure how people around them are going to react. And that's something I've been really working on lately, especially being in so many new groups of people the past 6 or 12 months. I have a tendency, part of it is learning to read the room. Well, part of it's reading the room and learning kind of where you're at, because you don't want to be jumping up and down like a maniac in like a business conference or something. You know what I mean?
Look at Terry.
Like, situationally appropriate behavior. But at the same time, you don't want to, and I did this for years, I dulled who I was because I was worried about what somebody else was going to say. Because I definitely grew up being told I was either too much or not enough, depending on which group of people you talk to. So, anyways,
Can I add something
Sure.
real quick? And this is for Bonnie and Lady Lexy because of what you guys do as coaches. I either heard, I'm trying to think, did I hear this on TV or I saw it on the internet or interwebs, whatever. I just saw a study that came out, and they said that, and they said Americans. Now I don't know about the rest of the world, but they said Americans. I guess they did a poll and whatever research or whatever. And maybe Terry can confirm this. He might, Terry, he's up on everything too. He might be able to confirm this. But I just saw this today earlier. It said that Americans are more angrier and more depressed now than ever before.
COVID.
And well, just before, we're at the highest rate of anger and depression. And I thought about, because of what we do, I thought about the 5 stages of grief. Isn't it crazy that anger and depression is locked into the 5 stages of grief? And this morning, and this is no coincidence, maybe it's a coincidence. This morning I woke up at 3:30 in the morning and I had all this in my head. So I had to grab my phone out and I start typing, right? And I took the word grief, Grief. And if you look at 5 stages of grief, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. And I took the word grief, Grief, and the solution is right there in the word. G stands for gratitude. Like if you want to help people get through the grief stage and help them, again, gratitude, and then R was for rest and relaxation. Now, whatever that means, whatever method you want to use in regards to maybe a massage or music, but rest and relaxation. The I stood for inspiration. Inspiration, that speaks for itself. Maybe your child can inspire you, maybe writing a book or a great novel or your purpose or whatever, inspiration. Prayer. E stands for exercise, and F stands for family and friends. Now, even if it's not your blood family and friends, this is like a family, And so this is my 5-step method to dealing with grief. And it came to me at like 3:28 in the morning, Grief, and boom, 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 boom. And then later in the day, I heard this study that Americans are more angry today and more depressed today than ever before. So maybe COVID exasperated it. And then I thought about YouTube. Then, like now as we talking, I hear Bonnie talking, I'm thinking the work that you guys are doing is going to be even more impactful.
Yeah, and I think
this is your work.
So I'm going to turn over the mic to Terry for a sec because he was shaking his head. But first, I'm going to say something else. I'm going back in my mind to a year ago. February 1st, I lost my mom, and it was due to this family that I actually pulled through. And I want to give kudos to all of you. But I remember watching the Insider Readers Group and Movement Makers, and that helped me so much to deal with my grief. So heartfelt thank you to all of you. Okay, so Terry, you were like shaking your head. So what was going on? What was in your mind?
No. COVID had nothing to do with Americans were angry long before COVID, and the thing is that you got to understand something. Since the dawn of like the internet and the dawn of like social media and this, that, and the other, a lot of things within the world, not just America, but so I'm going to speak worldwide here. Worldwide, there were a lot of things that were hidden because they were not as clearly visible. The internet, news, the media, social media, all these different things just brought more light to it and negativity to it. So the thing is that there's a lot of positive things that are happening out there in the world. Unfortunately, social media, the news, media, whatever labels you want to put up, trolls, what just happened earlier, they focus on that negativity and that's what they live off of. So they're highlighting the negativity because that's the agenda. They want to keep people angry. They want to keep people on edge, this, that, and the other. And generally people are happy. I'm generally happy most of the day until someone freaking pisses me off. And the thing is that I'm not really hard to get upset. There's those times when I am kind of easy to get upset. Bonnie can attest to that. She's upset me a couple of times. And, it's one of those things that when you have a level of maturity that will allow you to look past certain things, you will understand things from a different level. So the thing is that you don't let people see you sweat. You just don't let people see you sweat. And when you have a maturity level like yourself, Lexy, you are an extremely mature woman. Earlier, we had a situation and you showed your maturity level. You was calm under pressure, calm under the situation, and you handled it beautifully, without without being angry, without whatever the case may be. Here's the deal. Most people out there within the world will focus on exactly how the things that they know and the things that they're aware of. And if they're focused on angry, they'll be angry. If you're focused on negativity, you'll be negative. The thing is that the mind right there is a very powerful thing. And what starts right there within the mind gets extended to everything else. You will be stressful. You'll be angry. You will be verbal. You will be physical. With everything that starts right there, you build that sucker up right there. That mindset is everything, as Mary says. That mindset is 100% absolute everything. You strengthen that bad boy, everything else will be strong with it. But I'm here to tell you one thing. Your defenses, you will find that your defenses will be weak from time to time. And it's in those moments of weaknesses that you must show strength. And that's where people will judge you, because they will judge you from a place of weakness. But let me remind you, they will also judge you from a place of their weakness when they do not understand your strength. Be strong.
Yeah, and when you don't know what to do, reach out to others. That's exactly what I did. I reached out to all of you, and you helped me and to figure out what I needed to do. And that's the power of impact too, from all of us.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you're having trouble being strong, reaching out I was gonna say the same thing, but just in a different ish context, building on what Terry said, that sometimes when we feel like we can't be strong, we're ashamed to admit that and then afraid to reach out and ask for help. And really reaching out and asking for help is a sign of strength. So I just wanted to put my 2 cents in on that.
You
Absolutely.
Said, before
Okay.
about hang on, Mary. I'll give you the mic in a sec. You said something about looking at people, and from early on, I don't know what it was, but maybe because I'm often walking and on my own. I will look at people and I will just give them a smile. And it's so amazing to see what happens to people when you see them and you just give them a smile for no reason whatsoever, whether it's at the mall or for other reasons. And I just like to give people a smile or just a little comment and make their day. And just maybe if I can give all of you one assignment, normally I don't know, maybe I would give assignments, I don't know, it's the second broadcast, then it would be give this next week, go out there and see if you can give a smile to people you don't know, or maybe say something uplifting, and then tell me next week how it was, or take a picture, talking about it, sharing a reel on Instagram, I don't know where, but let me know how it turned out. Okay, having said so, yeah, Bonnie, go on.
I was just going to say mine's going to be virtual. So probably on social media, I'll probably be dropping comments because I'm still not going anywhere. It's been almost 2 years I've been mostly in this house.
Yeah, well,
it's an amazing. I'm not completely batshit crazy at this point, but that's why I have all y'all.
Yeah, but same applies. When we are in meetings and we don't know people, it's like when we have Gross Day every week, and then we start dancing with, and then when you put the screen on from Zoom, you can see all those people out there. And for me, the song always brings me back to being live at Brandon. So I jump and dance along, and people like that, especially the speakers, because it gives them energy. So yeah, exactly, that's the way it is. Okay, so
I'm gonna get going, guys. I'm gonna get going. But it's so nice to see everyone again. And it's every Wednesday at 5, right? Well, 5 o'clock my time, right? Or 4 o'clock.
It'll be 4 o'clock your time.
Okay, you guys on at 4 o'clock on Friday, correct? My time.
Yeah. So
Yes.
Okay. I just want to confirm because I think I had a different time in my phone. So I just want to confirm. Okay, cool.
Yours goes with 5, and then Bonnie, Terry's, and mine are 4.
Yeah, you guys are. Yeah, I just want to lock in my phone. Wednesday, Friday, 4 o'clock for you guys. Yeah. And then I kept mine at mine's tomorrow. I kept mine at 5. So, but guys, thank you so much, and enjoyed it. And let's keep making an impact, a positive impact out there in the world.
Totally.
Okay. All right.
See you tomorrow.
I love it. I have about 3 minutes left, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not going to make it really long this time. But first, Mary.
Terry can go because he's going.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. So I just wanted to touch on 2 things very quickly. And that's the power of community. So the power of community will give you strength beyond measure. And the thing is that you do not want to let others down. And that's what makes teams greater, is when you respect people, that you do not want to let them down. Like, we respect each other and we do not want to let each other down. That's the reason why we show up, so that we can show out. We speak up so that we can speak out. And the thing is that we don't want to let each other down. So when we heard, Lexy, you got a show, you're doing your thing, you're speaking up, you're speaking out. I don't want to let you down. I want to see you achieve success. And I think that's powerful right there, is when you want to see other people succeed, as like Evan says, and I'll use one of Evan's quotes. Like, Evan always says he wants to see you succeed more than he wants to see you succeed with him. We want to see you succeed. I want to see you succeed. Now, whether that's with me, because of me, alongside with me, the thing is that I don't look at it as competition. We're friends, we're peers, we're family, we're community. And the thing is that there's so many people that are out there worried about who's winning and who's beating them and who's ahead and how many likes do they have and how many follows. I don't care. That's the power of community. That's the power of like-minded people trying to do the exact same thing, because we all want to see each other achieve a degree of success. I want each and every one of you to succeed just as much as I hope that you want to see me succeed. And the thing is that everybody gets so bent out of shape on what can I give? Well, what can I give? Look, can you give this? Can you give that? Can you give whatever the case may be? Here's the most important thing that you can give. There's 2 things, and that's the most important thing that you can give to anybody. And if they hold any value to it, they will respect that. 1 is you, and 2 is your time. Because that's the 2 things that you cannot get back once that's gone, is you and your time. So don't ever forget that. Don't ever take it for granted, because when someone shows up and they show out, they're giving you the 2 most important commodities that they don't have a whole lot of, which is themselves and their time.
Yeah,
Lexy,
true.
Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate you. I want to see you achieve success. You have a great show.
Well, we inspire one another, and I believe in synergy. 1 + 1 = 3 or more. So I couldn't say it any better. Okay, Bonnie, Mary.
No, I was like, when you said we should go out and give a smile, I said it's not likely to have going out in this cold weather, and most of the people you meet in this cold weather, they don't even have any slightest time to see a smile or not. They're so busy covering their faces and protecting themselves from the cold that they don't. But it's absolutely important, because, like they say, if you meet someone without a smile, give him one of yours. If it's giving people smiles, you know me, my face is always having the smile. No matter what I'm going through, no matter when, I've always worn my smile.
That's what I love about you.
Yes.
The first thing I tell you on camera, the first thing I was like, oh my God, she's got the sweetest face. And I think I actually say to you that I love you.
All my life, it's not something now. That's how I've always been. Yeah. I've always had my smile, because my grandma used to say, my great-grandmother, always keep a smile. That way your enemies will never know when you're broken or when you're suffering. She was just saying it, and I keep my smile. It's my greatest trademark. I was going to say also that sometimes we really minimize the impact that we make because we don't celebrate ourselves. I always say this. We don't celebrate ourselves. The other day when the Zan said, on whom have you made any impact? And I was like, I didn't really readily see. But if I look at it, there are so many people that have impacted. But I just took it for granted because when you are I want to think that I'm a good person. When you are a good person and you do good in the world, it's just part of you. It's not like you go out of your way. It's your way of living, and you impact people. And most of the time, we are so humble and modest. We don't want to take the credit, and we don't even celebrate it. So, I think this year is a year of celebrating us.
Yeah, it is. It
Because
is.
yeah,
Started last year, and this year it's just going on. So, yeah. Okay, so some final words. And Terry, would you mind? You always so good at, like being there and then taking a picture of all of us. Would you mind? Then I'll return the favor.
No, I love it. I 100% love it. So I'm glad that you're reminding me of that. And here we go. So here we are. We're live on the Lady Lexy show over on YouTube, and we're talking about impact. So make sure that you join us next time and join the conversation. My God, the only thing that I can say is absolutely amazing conversation, amazing people. And when you surround yourself with great people, you yourself can be great. So get on Lexy's live stream. You don't know what you're missing. Get on over here.
I love it. Thank you. So I'm going to see if I can see. No, it's not really. Yeah, well, we'll see. Okay, so any final words? And I'm going to start with you, Bunny.
I just wanted to say how just grateful I am for this community. It, like Terry was saying and Zan was saying, I'm just going to reiterate it. Like, it's made a world of difference, especially being someone who is self-isolating, basically staying away from people and places. I haven't seen the inside of a grocery store in almost 2 years. My husband's been doing all of the, grocery shopping and whatnot. And I was somewhat used to it. Like, as you know, probably Lexus, being a little more careful even before COVID happened. But this is a whole other level of kind of being home. And I'm not sure, like I said earlier, where my mental state could have ended up had I not been so fortunate to find groups such as ours and some of the other groups that I'm involved in, because it very quickly could have, gone the other way. I'm also very committed to my mental health, having positive mental health, and impacting and contributing to positively impact other people's mental health and well-being as well. So all of that said, I'm super grateful for you guys and welcome me, even when my hair is totally crazy and wearing an old Carhartt hoodie.
You look lovely. Always.
Thank you. I got out here, I was like, did I look in a mirror today?
Yeah,
but it's just so accepting.
It's tomorrow. No, Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific. What will your show be about? Do you have a specific theme?
What was the topic for Friday? Did we even
We talked about impact last week. We talked about impact, and this was so Bonnie and I. We always kind of share like what we're going to talk about, like probably the day of.
I was going to say, yeah, what day? I'm looking for the date. I'm like, wait, it's only Wednesday. No, we haven't had that talk yet.
Today's Wednesday. I'll be at the office tomorrow, and then Friday. So I'll probably text you, or we'll talk about it either tomorrow on tomorrow's Clubhouse stream, or we'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's very last minute. Usually it's
Yeah,
like,
we've already
hey,
talked about impact, so we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see what
there's
we
never
talk about.
enough talk about the impact. I mean, we could go on for the entire month about the impact.
this is true. This is true. Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. The top topics that typically, I'm losing my words. It's time for me to go to bed. Typically come to us at the last moment or at the very randomest moments. Why don't we talk about blah blah blah? All right,
Yeah.
cool. Let's do it.
So this might actually be a good thing. So Bonnie actually gave me my one word for the year, and I didn't have one before. And in a conversation of us talking about how we're going to move forward, because I was brainstorming ideas for an inner circle that I'm about ready to create here. So I have a private training group, mastermind, inner circle, if you will, that I'm about ready to create here very soon. Similar to Movement Makers, but we're going to call it something different. And the one word that came out of that was change. And it was like, if you want to see change within the world, you yourself must be the change. So you want to see the change, be the change. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about change and how to change your life so that you can change other people's lives. You know, whether it's life, whether it's business, whether it's whatever it is, people really want to change. And I think over the last 2 years, you know, we've been stuck in our houses. We've had minimal access to people. We've had minimal access to different things. And the world is looking for change. And you know, why not us? Why can't we be the change that other people want to see? Because so many people out there are talking about different things that they want, they need, they desire. And what they really want, need, and desire is change. Be the change.
Yeah, I love it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add one thing to that. The only reason I was able to say, hey, what about blah, 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 is because I felt comfortable talking to Terry. Like, I felt comfortable making a suggestion. I felt comfortable going, I kind of like that, but what about this? And I can be honest now. Like, I don't feel like, you know, most of the time, every once in a while, I'm like, can I tell you how I honestly feel? And they're like, yeah, that's what I want. Okay. But like, I don't have to hold that back because my intentions are also, they're pure. They're good. Like, I'm not trying to rip anybody's shreds or anything. That's not my thing. But yeah, that's a big part of building an online family or an online community, is being able to fully actually just be yourself. So
Yeah, authenticity is so important, and never let anyone stop you from being you and expressing yourself the way you are, because you are worth it. You are never alone, and maybe there are only a few of you out there, but people will absolutely appreciate you because you bring that something different, that one sparkle, that one uniqueness to everyone else. And if we were all alike, let's face it, it would be so boring. So, yeah. So, Mary, some final words?
What can I say when all the wise people have spoken?
Well, you are wise too. You are wise too. So let's hear it. Let's hear some more wisdom from you.
Absolutely amazing community, because like Bonnie was saying,
Hey,
virtually it's like we are not even far apart. With the way we meet weekly, the number of times we meet, it's like we are really in the same place. So we don't even feel any loneliness, isolation, or we don't have any. We always have something doing. Look at how many lives are coming up. All the days are booked, and we are working. I'm really proud of my community. I was telling Terry, there's no way you can belong to this community and be the broken link that would. You have to keep working,
unbreakable.
unbreakable. And it's an honor for me. It's an honor for me to be in this community, and I always celebrate every one of you for all the milestones. You're not living, you're not sleeping, you are taking action, intentional action, and making impact. And like I said, we need to start celebrating ourselves. We need to really celebrate our wins. Let's not wait till we get to the trophy. Let's celebrate the little wins along the way, and then we'll find that celebrating it's a daily habit. I don't know whether it's a habit or, but we need to learn how to celebrate, because you guys are doing great things out there and you don't celebrate yourselves. We don't celebrate ourselves. I know it's because sometimes we want to be modest, we want to be humble, but celebrating yourself is not being like soberbia or proud or something. I don't think it's pride. You work for it and you celebrate yourself. It gives you the energy to keep moving. And like the like Lady Lexy said, your unique identity is what makes the impact. Like somebody said, being your truest self is the biggest impact you can make, because everybody else is taken. You can be authentically you and do you and make an impact. So I'm really grateful for this group, and I'll always be there anytime I can.
Yeah, I love it. So what I also loved, and Terry mentioned, said something about this before. You said about the importance of celebrating yourself, and Terry and I, we talked briefly about the impact of what you're telling yourself, by allowing yourself certain things or not, which whether it's consciously or subconsciously, and by celebrating yourself and telling yourself, "I did good." You're telling yourself it's okay to do it. So that's so important to keep doing it. And even if you're not aware of the impact on yourself, you will notice it down the line, that when you keep telling yourself positive things, and tell yourself you did well, that you're more likely to go ahead and do some more. Okay, so Terry, one final thought.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you want to change your life, then change your way of thinking. And it starts right there within your mind. And the moment that you start changing the conversation that's in your mind and taking action on those things that you're telling yourself, you will notice a difference. And whether that difference is big, small, positive, and hopefully not negative, the thing is that be the change. I said it earlier, be the change. If you want to see change within the world, be the change. And that starts right there with yourself. Change yourself. Lexy, thank you very much for allowing me to be on your show. Thank you very much for allowing me to share my voice here. And I've truly learned a lot from you, Bonnie. Every day I learn something from you. Every day, the conversations that we have each and every day, it's like Mary says, community. When you're surrounded by a great community, you yourself will become great. Because here's the thing, myself alone, I'm not great. I'm great because of the people that I'm around. I'm Terry, and I take action every single day, and I achieve results, whether those results are big, small, positive, or negative, they are in fact results. But the thing is that every day I do the one thing that a lot of people are not willing to do, because you know what? It's easy to give up. It's easy to quit. It's easy to make excuses. It's easy to do all of the things that you say that you coulda, shoulda, woulda done. Well, if it's so easy and you coulda, shoulda, woulda, then do it. Otherwise, speak up and speak out, show up or show out, or you know what? Shut up.
Oh, that's so funny. I didn't see that one coming. Okay, so I'm going to wrap things up. When I was thinking about the theme today, impact seemed to make sense, impact of speaking out, hence why I made the handout. And in a few hours, if people want to download it, they can go to tikaracc.com/impact. But what I wanted to say is, we've seen a number of things happening here on the show today with the trolls. Basically, what we showed them is we don't accept it, we don't allow it, boom, go. But also something else, and that applies to each one of you, including Zen. He's not here. But I've spoken with each and every one of you, and each and every one of you has helped me to be able and have this broadcast out here every week. And without you, I don't know if I would have had courage. And I do know it would have been very different for me. And knowing that I can talk to you and reach out and discuss certain things, which, when I'm not certain, what should I do? It has helped me so much because I know because of it that basically all of us combined are, we are a team and we support one another. And for those out there who do not have a team and say, but I don't have anyone to talk to, you'd be surprised what talking to strangers, whether it's on a chat, like Bonnie said, she doesn't go out. But if you reach out to people and you just say something, someone will pick it up. But don't give up just straight away. Just keep going and you'll find them. We found our family too. So with that being said, I hope to see you all again next week. And all of you have a very good night. And it's a wrap.